Now to talk more about the case, the investigation, and the evidence, Joshua Ritter, host of the True Crime Daily Sidebar podcast. He's also a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, and you just heard him there. Thank you for being with us this morning. I don't want to make too much of the scratches on his face, but I have to think that he's a pretty unique inmate in that area right now, and to show up in court with these very apparent bloody scratches on his face from a shave, I'm wondering what type of blades inmates are typically given to shave.
Well, they're not the nice ones. They're not the expensive kind. I mean, they're given, you know, the kind of whatever the county can afford. So I'm not surprised that would be the explanation for the scratches. But you're right. Anytime he shows up to court now, everything is going to be microanalyzed, including, you know, any kind of scars or bruising he may have on his face, because he is getting a lot of attention. He is an inmate that all of the other inmates where he's being held know about. So it's certainly something to cause people to be at least curious about.
Yeah, well, my first thought went to maybe somebody tried to attack him, right, for what he is accused of doing. That's, of course, extremely speculative, but I think the general public sees that and wonders the same thing. All right, let's talk about this case. We won't see him back in court for this preliminary hearing until June. Who benefits more from all of this time, the defense or the prosecution?
The defense does, because they're playing catch up completely. The prosecution knows all the evidence. The police have been working on this since the murders took place. They're on top of everything. And now the defense is getting this huge cachet of evidence that they have to go through. And that's why it's not surprising that they asked for that amount of time. Usually in cases of this magnitude, the defense is going to ask for some time before the preliminary hearing. 6 months is a lot of time, but I'm not surprised when you're dealing with a case this serious with all, you know, what is at stake for him, you know, potentially a death penalty case here. And then just kind of the multifaceted investigation, all of the stuff that the defense is going to have to dive through. It was not a shock to me at all that they asked for the amount of time that they did.
The affidavit revealed some really chilling details about the surviving roommate coming in contact with seeing the killer walk down the hallway and then out the back sliding glass door. How important will that roommate's testimony be if she is in fact called as a witness?
It'll be hugely important, and I would be shocked if she wasn't called as a witness. That was one of the bombshells in that affidavit, that somebody in the house actually witnessed someone matching his description. She wasn't able to positively identify the face because he was wearing a mask, but someone matching his description, including having bushy eyebrows, walked close enough to her that she described it as having looked him straight in the face. What's important about that is there is no other eyewitness to anyone being in that house. So there was no surveillance footage that we know of, at least yet, that captured anyone entering or exiting that home. So to actually have someone say, yes, I saw a person matching his description, height, weight, roughly, and the description of his eyebrows is going to be hugely impactful.
Right. So the affidavit revealed a lot of evidence that investigators had that led to the arrest. It seemed thorough to most of us, the police work that went into it, right? Connecting all these dots, we went, oh, yeah, it seems like you've got a pretty good suspect here. Do you see any holes in what they have released publicly, in what they have? Do they have enough for a conviction in your opinion?
I think they do. And I know this is early on, and we're probably going to get more evidence because the affidavit is not a police report. It's just enough evidence to put in front of a judge to ask for an arrest warrant. So I imagine that there is more out there, but I thought it was extremely thorough. The defense has really got an uphill battle on their hands, especially when it comes down to the DNA found on that knife sheath. When you start to add things like DNA and eyewitnesses on top of a case that includes a lot of very powerful circumstantial evidence, and the fact that, you know, his vehicle was in the area several times before, that his phone was turned off during the time of the murders, all of that, you know, creates a great amount of suspicion. But when you start adding things like DNA and eyewitnesses, that almost becomes insurmountable for the defense.
Twofold final question for you. A chance this doesn't go to trial, and if it does, how important will it be for the prosecution to prove and provide a motive?
I think the chances of this not going to trial are very slim. The only way I could see this ending in a plea agreement is if they do pursue death, and in some sort of plea agreement, they agree to take the death penalty off the table in exchange for him entering a plea, which would likely be for life without parole. Putting that aside, I think this absolutely ends up in a trial. And I'm sorry, I forgot
the motive. We want to know a motive, yeah. But do prosecutors focus on that?
The motive, prosecutors don't have to prove motive, but in cases like this, jurors want to know. It's just the thing, that last piece that makes no sense here. And even if it's something like he was just obsessed with them, or he was obsessed with the idea of murder, or he was obsessed with seeing if he couldn't get away with something, that might be enough for jurors to hang their hats on. But it's a mistake, I think, if the prosecution just leaves that completely unanswered.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.